Alright, what I got here is I just got this got it in the shop. It powers on. It's a Pioneer. If you can't see that, it's a Pioneer VSX 901S. Now, this one's similar, pretty much in the same box and everything as the D1S. This one seems a little bit more complicated than my D1S. I mean, the buttons are. I mean, I'm sitting there playing with it. They got all kinds of buttons. They got a bunch of these. My D1S doesn't have all this. But the door doesn't open. There's no door. Your EQ settings are right here. This phone is not focusing too well. You got your balance, all that stuff right here. You can see. And I turn it on. You get this right here. You see those things raise up. Don't know if that's normal for this unit, but one thing I don't have is sound coming through. I've got the signal, like you can see it picking up the signal from wherever I'm sending it through, like the CD and everything. It's not coming through the speakers. Like it's picking up signal. It's not in standby mode, stuck in standby mode or nothing. So that tells me there's either transistors bad or there's a lot of capacitors bad. When I first plugged this thing in, it made it a real loud humming noise. Then sound like some kind of real bad static, like electric touching something it shouldn't. So I would say there's some transistors or some capacitors. I'd lean more to capacitors. But the display on this thing's kind of similar to my D1S. And like I said, this thing's still massive, just like the D1S. And this thing is definitely worth putting some money in. Now, I'll pick this thing up damaged for $100. These things are getting more and more rare, being fixed in working condition. Now, if you don't know anything about the D1S and these high-end Pioneer 90s receivers, this was the best of the best. People argue the fact like, oh, it's not high-end and all that stuff. High-end doesn't mean that you have to pay $30,000 for an amp. It doesn't matter. The specs, all that stuff has a lot to do with that. Amp wattage output, your clarity, that is the most important. You can have a amp that pushes 80 watts, but as long as that thing's efficient and puts out the sound clear, all you're looking for is sound transfer. Most people don't listen to 400 watts while they're just sitting and listening to music. If you're having a concert or something like that, you may want 400 watts, but if you got a high-end stereo system, normally you're not using your 400 watts for anything. You know, I mean, do you barely crack 100? Maybe. But I know my D1S, it's got so much power, and this thing here is pretty much similar, that I hardly ever go above clocked at 11 or 10. I mean, it's just putting so much power out, and it's clear. The sound is very, very pure and clear. If you don't know much about these, they are complicated to work on. I'm not going to say that, but they're well worth what. It's a receiver. You can plug anything you want to in this, and it will play your music, your movies, whatever you want to, and it'll be accurate, dead accurate. So, and I'm not knocking any other system out there. I have ADCOM systems, and when it comes down to sound and everything else, I have to lean more to my D1S than ADCOM. I just do. I have both. I listen to the both, and I always go back and listen to my D1S. And it's just nice receiver. Plus, you can't beat the style. 90s style of a receiver, you can't beat them. They got the EQ. You can watch the balance and everything in the front of it. It's got the display. As you can see, my phone ain't the best for this kind of stuff. But you can see right there, you got all your buttons. And we'll go a quick look across it. This is what the front of it looks like. Now, like I said, it's similar to the D1S. The door there's no door that flips down right here like the D1S. All the buttons are actually out on the open. Now, I got a 99S coming, and it's pretty much similar to this and the D1S. They're just different models. This is a 9-channel. So I never use none of them channels. I just like the receiver. I like what it does. I like the sound. I just use 2-channel. I usually use Polk Audio or Clips, something like that for speakers. Accurate, real good transfer. So, this is just, like I said, I'll find out what's wrong with this. I'll give an update it's going to take me a while to figure out what's wrong with it. I'm probably going to have hours into this thing, trying to figure it out. So just, if you're watching all of my videos, you haven't liked and subscribed, and you want to follow, you're into equipment, wanting to learn how to fix it, follow, like, and subscribe. Don't cost you anything. Support my channel. I can buy other ones and fix those too, because that's what I like to do. I like to fix stuff, and especially if it's worth fixing, and he's definitely worth fixing. So I might get into some other amps and try to pick up some that's damaged and fix them, a few AdComs or whatever. So thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoy it.